As we welcome you back to Pete Lean Field, it is going to be Post State taking on Brandon Valley for the second straight day. And again, one of these teams will be going home tomorrow morning without a game to be played on Sunday, and one team will be beating Rapid City in the state championship, and the possibility of knocking them off twice to win the state championship. Greg Dean joins me here in the press box, and for a pregame interview, we've got the director of pitching development in Peyton Zabel. All right, Peyton, we're going to talk about pitching quite a bit here, but obviously we'll get into the lineup as well for Post State. Pierre's got to be sitting better than Brandon Valley right now, pitching-wise, because you got Matt Lusk on the mound, and you just saw Brandon Valley. Marceau's not available. Hupke can throw, but doesn't have too much left. Chevalier already pitched, so they're starting to scrap the bottom of the barrel, where Post State is still sitting good with Matt Lusk starting.
Yep, absolutely. We've loved Matt on the mound all year long, and it's a little different role for him tonight, being that he's starting. He's been that closer guy for us all year, as you saw in the game earlier today when he closed that one. But Matt's a competitor, man. He's going to come out, and we kind of know what we're going to get for him. I'm going to knock on wood real quick, but he's just kind of that Mr. Consistent. He doesn't get too high, too low. So we feel really comfortable with him going out there. And then it's kind of after that, it's kind of all hands on deck. And like you said, we got a lot of dudes in the dugout that are very, very capable of getting outs that we still have eligible. So we're feeling really good as far as that goes.
Yeah, and I think that's been one of the real strengths of this team over the last 10 weeks has been the fact that you've been able to roll out about. In fact, we counted it up. I think yesterday during the game. I think you've been able to roll out like 12 different guys who've got at least 15 innings under their belt this year, and that's just not just guys that you roll out there and just go, well, this ends up being a throwaway game. I mean, you've got guys who at any given time can go out and give you good quality innings from 1 all the way down to 12.
Absolutely. I think last year when we came in and kind of established what we were trying to do with the pitching side of things at the Legion level, the kids bought in. Like, I was so impressed. I was worried, honestly, because of everything was new. Like, we completely turned what we were doing before on its head, and like it's just kept paying dividends. I mean, we have 338 strikeouts, I believe, on the year, which far outdoes how many times we've striked out on offense. So I mean, I've been impressed, and like we have kids that on this staff are number 4, 5, 6 in the rotation. On a lot of other staffs in South Dakota, they're a top 3 arm, and that just goes to show how good we've been as a whole on the mound. And I think the confidence that like I have in any one of those guys is absurd. Like I was saying earlier, like I feel confident with every single guy we are going to put in the game tonight. Like we could throw out 6 different pitchers and I would feel complete confidence in them. Obviously that's a little biased because I'm their coach, but I think we're very talented, and we're going to be very talented in the coming years just because we've established a system and it's shown it works, and we're excited.
And again, playing Brandon Valley here in this ball game, the winner will go to the state championship game against Rapid City at Post 22. Looks like we might be getting started here a little bit sooner rather than later. I'll ask you one question here. Offensively, what's it going to take to beat this Brandon Valley team after they won yesterday?
That's a good question. And I think tonight we won't have a rain delay. Hopefully, I'm also going to knock on wood for that one. But we're going to lean heavy on our seniors tonight. And like we said yesterday, like a young team could have very easily folded today, losing that first game. But like you saw us work, you saw us battle, you saw us compete. And I think that spoke a lot to our senior leadership. So again, tonight, like we're going to look to our dudes. We're going to look to our seniors, the guys that have been here before, the guys that have played in the big games, played in the postseason, and hopefully just lean on them, and hopefully they produce for us. We're gonna stay true to what we do. We're gonna stay up the middle. We're gonna stay true to our approach, and hopefully it pays off for us.
Hey, you and Coach Nas did a pretty good job taking the reins after Coach White got ejected. And again, we if you didn't hear from earlier, Coach White had every right to be upset, and we're behind him getting tossed. And I think it paid dividends for you guys that he did kind of show the team how much he cared about this team and want to win. But you and Coach Nas did a pretty good job of getting through that rest of that game.
Yeah, Thank you, I guess. But that was definitely a new experience for both of us. Me being kind of just the player development guy on the pitching side, I actually kind of got thrown into like having to coach first base, which was obviously new for me, and kind of having to run like how we were having approaches and what we were doing at the plate a little bit too. And the funny part about that was I had never bothered to learn the offensive science. So when I got told, when White got tossed, I got told I was going to have to coach third base. And then I like started thinking about it and realized I had absolutely no idea what signs to give our hitters and our base runners. So I got sent over to the first base side, luckily, and Coach Nas saved us. So it was an interesting game to say the least.
Well, and looking ahead to this game, this is going to be a fun game. I mean, you got two very good offensive teams. Post State has shown their mettle throughout the entire season as a very good offensive team, and then we saw Brandon Valley in person yesterday for the first time. But looking at their stats on paper, we knew that they could hit the ball, and they certainly have proved that over the course of the last day and a half.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, both teams are very well coached at the top with Coach White and Coach Van Heel. Know each other very well and have battled a lot. But yeah, like you said, both teams are very capable of scoring runs. Like both Brandon Valley and Coach Van Heel, they're always well coached. You can always count on a Brandon Valley team to be well coached. And I think that's where we just got to play our game and just, battle and compete and hope for the best. Because mark my words, 5 runs will not win this game tonight. Well, just because I think both teams are that good offensively.
Post State is taking the field, so we will let you go down and do your job as the player development coach. Thanks, Peyton. Appreciate the time. And we will step aside for 30 seconds and come back with first pitch of the final game of the day here for Post State's and Brandon Valley. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today is KCCR, and today is KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Pete Lean Field, as Matt Lusk is on the mound getting set here for this ball game. And again, thanks to Peyton Zabel for the pregame interview, as the first time that he's been live on the radio before. So he did a pretty good job. He does a lot of things well, doesn't he?
He absolutely does.
As Greg Dean joins me here in the press box, the throw down from Cade Hinkle. We're just about set for baseball. I'm not even done with the lineup. The lineup got sent to me here. I think they turned the lineup in, and I think that's when I got the lineup sent to me. So we're in about 30 seconds had a lineup sent to me, and we're ready to play some baseball. Matt Brown is the leadoff hitter. This is a rematch of yesterday where Post State lost 12-2. They led 2-0 after the second inning, and a rain delay after the top of the second, in between the top and bottom of the second. And now here for the top of the first inning, first pitch from Matt Lusk to Matt Brown is over for strike one, and we are underway at 10:19 local time. 11:19 back in Pierre. Glad you could join us for this contest, because this is going to be one that you're going to spend your Saturday evening and Sunday morning with us here in the capital city. The 0-1 is Miss Sloan is now 1-1 to Matt Brown.
Yeah, and after that rain delay, it has definitely cooled off. It was 87 degrees, I think, at first pitch earlier today against Renner, and now it is 63.
Check swing. Andrew Coverdale will flip it to first, and the leadoff man is retired to open up the ball game. As Matt Brown grounds out, and it'll bring up Dane Payton. As we go through the lineup, try and go through the lineup here. Dane Payton will bat next. It'll be Connor Connect, and then Jackson Haas. Joe Kolbeck will be the number 5 hitter. Thomas Skolton is at batting at 6. Then Brad Skorcheski, Michael Chevalier, and Lake Trevier with Senaha on the mound for Brandon Valley. The first pitch to Dane Payton is taken for a strike one. Payton went 0 for 3 with a sacrifice bunt yesterday in that game. He's still trying to find his rhythm here, and he's got to find it pretty quick. He's been struggling in the plate in the postseason as he was hitting under 200, under 150 coming into this state tournament. 1-1 pitch. There's a swing and a miss of the pitch in the dirt, and it's now 1-2. So he's struggling to find it, and he's got potentially now just one game to try and find his stroke. Otherwise, the season could come to an end.
Yeah, and just a very slick fielding shortstop is Dane Payton, and he had been in the leadoff role yesterday, and they bumped him down to the number 2 spot today.
1-2 pitch outside, and it's 2-2. Matt Lusk had the save, his 5th save of the season in that win, 4-3 over Renner earlier today. Feels like it was yesterday, but it was earlier today. 2-2 pitch, and that one will bounce in 3-2 here in about 20 minutes or 35 minutes or so here in the capital city. We can say it was yesterday, but it was earlier on this Saturday. Count is full here to Dane Payton. From the windup, here is the payoff pitch from Lusk to Payton. Line shot. That's through for a base hit. He's 1 for 1. Just past the outstretched glove of Stout over at shortstop, and there's a 1-out single. And that'll give him some confidence going into the rest of his at-bats in this ball game. Bring up Counter Connect.
And again, 63 degrees at first pitch. Both teams wearing black tops for Post 8. They are wearing, again, the same black tops they wore earlier today. Black tops, green letters, green numbers outlined in white for Brandon. Black tops, white letters outlined in red, white numbers, gray pants with white piping on the sides.
Here's the first pitch from Matt Lusk to Connor Connect. That one will miss low for ball 1. 7-4 was the final score between Brandon Valley and Rapid City Post 22 in that first game, or maybe 7-5, was that final score. But Brandon Valley had the tying run up to the plate in that top of the 7th after trailing 6-0 at one point. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one will also miss low, and it's now 2-0 to Connor Connect.
And one of the other differences is we've got a 3-man umpiring crew tonight.
They had a 3-man in that last game, and here's a 3-man crew in this ball game, and that's something that will be hopefully used to the benefit of both teams. The 2-0 pitch from Lusk here to Connor Connect. And said time is called by Connect, and I say the benefit of both teams, but one where you don't notice the umpires. Like, and again, we don't really want to start putting blame on anybody, especially umpires and stuff like that, but they were a little bit more noticeable than what they have been throughout the season. Here's the 2-0 pitch from Lusk to Connect. That one will also miss low, and the count is now 3-0.
And just the fact that you've got an extra set of eyes and as many tough calls as had to be made in that game earlier today, just having that extra set of eyes and extra interpretation and just an extra body to kind of step in and maybe talk some things through. I think that's a good thing. That's why you see 4 umpires at the major league level, and you have 6 in postseason games. So anytime you can get an extra set of eyes on the field from the umpiring crew, that's a plus.
Here's Jackson Haas, the number cleanup hitter. I don't think that's really a number.
It's 11-24, John. You can get away with that.
Here's the first pitch to Haas. That one will go over for strike 1. And the number's 0-1. No, the letter's 0-1. No, I count as 0-1 to Matt Lusk. See, I couldn't even make that joke. Right. It's been a long day. Didn't get the nap that I usually get. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Matt Lusk to Jackson Haas. From the stretch, long pause. There's a chopper at the plate, and it'll go foul the third base side. Defensively for Post 8, River Iverson is out in left field. Jack Van Camp is in center. And A.J. Geeden out in right field. It is Lincoln Keenels at third, Garrett Stout at short, Andrew Coverdale at second, Andy Gordon at first, and Cade Hinkle behind the plate. And that is the exact formation of that defensive positioning as it was to end the ball game as we start the ball game here against Brandon. 0-2 is the count with 1 down. Runners at first and second here at the top of the first. 0-2 pitch. Just missing outside, maybe a little low, and it's now 1-2. Not a bad spot there from Lusk, trying to get Haas to chase. And Lusk will have just about all of his pitches. He threw I think it was 4 in that first game. So he's got 101 pitches to work with in this ball game. And obviously he's thrown several here already. The 1-0 pitch, 1-2 pitch is skied out to left field. River Iverson going back. He's going to get underneath it. He'll make the catch. Runner will tag from second over to third. And Stout couldn't cleanly scoop it up, but didn't get far enough away. Runner does take third base and Peyton connects. State put it first, and there's 2 down for Joe Colbeck. And, good heads-up decision and a good play there by Dane Payton to realize once Iverson got behind that ball that it was going to be caught, and he could tag from second to third.
Yeah, and I don't know how much rain we got here during the rain delay, but it did come down hard for a while. And I know in the southern part of Rapid City they were talking about some fairly big hailstones that fell with this storm. But they just took the ball out of play that came in on the throw and hit the grass. And so you got to figure that outfield grass might be just kind of wet tonight. And so we'll see if that comes into play at any point.
Runner takes off and will stay put over at first base as Joe Colbeck takes strike 1. Colbeck in yesterday's contest went 1 for 1. He reached base all 3 times. He had 2 walks. He had an RBI double that at that point tied the ball game up at 2, and then end up in that inning, it did give them pull them within 1, I should say, in the bottom of the third, but came around to score the game's tying run. They scored 12 runs in a row. There's a hot shot out to center field. Jack Van Camp still going back. He will make the catch, and Brandon Valley will strand runners at the corners here in the top of the first inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 men left on base. We have played a half inning, and Pierre and Brandon Valley are scoreless as Post State will come to the plate. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR, today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the first inning, Post State and Brandon Valley are scoreless. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean. Let's go through the starting lineup for Post State. Andrew Coverdale leading off, batting second. River Iverson will bat second and play left field. Garrett Stout is the shortstop, batting third. Andy Gordon is the first baseman in the cleanup spot. McGuire Rasky is the DH, batting fifth. Jack Van Camp, the center fielder, batting sixth. Lincoln Keenolz will bat seventh, playing third base. A.J. Gain is out in right field, batting eighth, and Cade Hinkle behind the plate as he rounds out the order for Post State. If you're looking for severe weather coverage here at around 11:30 back in Pierre, it is over on Capital City Rock and Country 95.3 as Zach Nelson and DT Meyer are on the job out there for severe weather coverage as we play here in the bottom of the first in Rapid City. A lot of those storms started out over here and made their way through, and severe thunderstorm watch is out for quite some time throughout the rest of the night and into your Sunday morning. Andrew Coverdale will lead things off here in this ball game. The bottom of the first. First pitch is taken for strike one. Coverdale tripled and singled. He went 2 for 3 yesterday. He tripled with 2 outs. He was the number 3 hitter yesterday in that first game. He's been the leadoff hitter for Post State these 2 days, or 2 games today. As we'll have a quick, as Senahov's on the mound, he will have a quick conference with the catcher for Brandon Valley as there's an 0-1 count. It's interesting that it was that quick into having a conference, one pitch into, and maybe the signs are a little mixed up here.
Yeah, that has got to be about the only explanation that Skolton and Senaha were not on the same page in terms of their signs, and so Skolton recognized it early on and made a quick trip out to the mound to make sure that he and Senaha were communicating back and forth properly.
Oh, one pitch is lined to Skorcheski at first. He'll make the play, and the leadoff man is retired Here in the bottom of the first inning. That was a hot shot, and Skorcheski had to move about 2 steps and stick the glove out. And here's River Iverson with 1 down and nobody on base.
Yeah, just a bullet, and again, just something we've just kind of come to expect and taken for granted off the bat of Andrew Coverdale throughout this entire season. Just a rocket, but and a ball that 6 feet any direction that goes into right field for at least a base hit, if not possibly extra bases. But right at Skorcheski, and there's 1 down for the Eights.
And again, Cole Hupke threw in that first game, but only threw about 60 pitches for Brandon Valley. He was relieved after a 6-0 advantage for Rapid City Post 22. So he's still available to pitch tonight. He's not available for tomorrow. So you might think that he's going to be the first man in relief. There's another ground ball for the first baseman, Skorcheski. 1 hopper right to him, and he'll step on the bag, and he's retired the first 2 men. And I'll bring up the shortstop, Garrett Stout.
Yeah, and just another bullet, but again, a good play by Skorcheski. I mean, just a nice play. Had to go a step to his left and gloved the ball, and just a couple steps, and he's on the bag. And so Skorcheski's made a couple of very nice athletic plays over at first base so far. We saw him make a really good defensive play yesterday, where he flagged down a ball that could have got into right field for a base hit.
Yeah, and then he's made all these plays look easy so far, but they have been the farthest thing from an easy play. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Garrett Stout. Swing and a miss, and it's now 1-1. That one was upstairs, but one that Stout was maybe looking for a 1-0 Post-State lead. He's got 7 home runs on the season. None so far in the playoffs. Post-State is the only team in the state tournament that has not hit a home run in the playoffs. Rapid City Post 22 hit 2 home runs last game against Brandon Valley. 1-1 is a swing and a miss. Good cut there again from Stout, but unable to connect, and it's now 1-2.
Stout coming into the day, this was before the Renner game, coming into the day hitting an even 400 on the year, 64 hits and 160 at bats. He's got 11 doubles, 6 triples, 7 homers, 33 RBIs to go with that 400 average.
1-2 pitch comes inside for ball 2, and the count is now at 2-2. Stout did get an RBI single in that last game against Renner. Try and find some of the stats from that last game. My papers are going everywhere. I'm not really sure where everything went to for me. Here's the 2-2 pitch to Stout. That one's skied out to center field. Going back on his turf here, he will move over to his right. He'll make the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Senahop. And that will retire the side and a scoreless first inning for both pitchers. We hit the top of the second. Both teams in Brandon Valley and Pierre looking for their first runs. You listen to Post-State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Pete Lean Field as we go to the top of the second inning, it is going to be Thomas Skolton, Brad Skorcheski, and Michael Chevalier. And speaking of Thomas Skolton, Kelly Skolton just walked by and appreciate the shout out. And he said he was in a good mood last night. And of course he was going to be, because Brandon Valley got the win last night. And he said, we'll see you about later on tonight. Good to talk to him, and good to see that he has made it here safely into Rapid City. And happy to have the 52 of you that are watching on our YouTube page right now, KCCR Sports, and the many more, you at home or wherever you might be here late on a Saturday. You might be still driving around or maybe at a campground. Hopefully kind of maybe parked for the rest of the night. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Skolton, and that's outside, and it's now 2-0.
Yeah, and again, if you're up at 11:36 p.m. on on Central Time. Thanks for tuning in and joining us tonight. We hope we can provide you with some good baseball and hopefully a post-8 win as we get into the overnight hours.
It's a 3-0 count here to Thomas Skolden. Yeah, we will have a legal ID coming up here at midnight the next time we have to give one to you. Now it's 3-1 count. I don't remember if I've ever done a game before that's gone into the next day. This is going to be the first one. Here's the 3-1 pitch from Lust to Skolden. There's a fly ball out to right field. A.J. Gaden is out there in right. He will camp underneath it, and the leadoff man is retired to open up the top of the second.
Yeah, and again, we talked about it earlier today, John, that this is a loser out game. So the loser of this game goes home. You've got tonight, and it'll be the last time they put on the jersey. So this is a big game. A lot of emotion going to run through this game on both sides, and again, you just hope that Post-8 comes out, does the little things right, makes enough plays, and is able to go for a state championship tomorrow against Rapid City Post 22.
0-1 pitch to Brad Skorcheski, and that one missed inside, and it's now 1-1. Dawson Skorcheski, also part of this Brandon Valley team. He has gotten just one at-bat, but he got a base hit in his one at-bat in the postseason. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Brad Skorcheski. That's upstairs, and it's now 2-1.
Yeah, much like Post-8 having 11 seniors on the roster, Brandon Valley has 9 seniors and 2 super seniors on the roster. So you're going to see a big changeover in both of these teams when 2021 rolls around.
Backhanded by Stout at short. Long throw to first is in time, and the first 2 men have been retired by Matt Lusk, and there's 2 down. And I'll bring up Michael Chevalier, the winner in Game 1 for Brandon Valley yesterday against Pierre. After struggling, I wouldn't say he really struggled through the first 2 innings, but compared to how the later innings went after the rain delay, you could say that he struggled in those first 2. Gave him a run in each of the first 2 innings, and then the rain delay helped him kind of settle down and get things in flow as he put zeros up the rest of the way as that first pitch is inside for ball 1. I'm not sure if it had the opposite effect to Lincoln Keenels, but the momentum that Pierre had was drained out in that rain delay, and Chevalier was able to take advantage of that when he came back out on the mound. The count is 1-1 here to the second baseman, Michael Chevalier. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Everyone is at the letters, and it's now 1-2.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Post-8 just came out of that hour-and-a-half rain delay just flat yesterday, and so Brandon was able to take advantage of it. And talking to one of the Post 131 parents, they are a slow starting team, and so far tonight, it's been 6 up and 6 down for Matt Lusk, and let's just hope he keeps that rolling.
As he strikes out, Chevalier looking, that will retire this side. A 1-2-3 inning for Matt Lusk. We head to the bottom of the second. There is no score between Pierre and Brandon Valley. You're listening to Post-8 Baseball on today's KCCR, today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the second inning, as it will be 4 Post-8, 4, 5, and 6. Andy Gordon, McGuire Rasky, and Jack Van Camp. If anybody reaches base, it'll be Lincoln Keenels, as it was Senaha who had the 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the first. And here is Andy Gordon. Gordon, in that game against Brandon Valley yesterday, had an RBI single. He did reach on an error, so he was on base both times he came to the plate. The first 3 hitters, and Stout, Iverson, and Coverdale had 3 at-bats, or at least 3 plate appearances. Everybody else had 2. after it was a 12-5 inning win for Brandon Valley. Here's the first pitch to Andy Gordon. That one is inside for ball one.
Gordon comes into the day hitting .372. He's got 48 hits in 129 at bats, 9 doubles, 2 triples, a home run. Leads the team with 36 RBIs on the year.
Seneha will work from the stretch with nobody on base. Here is the 1-0 pitch to Gordon. That one will foul back, and it's now 1-1.
And Gordon's got such quick hands, and we've talked about it several times throughout the year, but Gordon's got really quick hands, really short, compact stroke. He's able to turn around a pitcher who's going to bring it in the mid to high 80s, even over 90, just because he is able to just get that bat moving, and he's quick in through the zone with those hands.
Count is 2-1 to Gordon. That pitch missed low. And Gordon, that's why he's been that 4 spot all year and will continue to be that way next year. There's a ground ball to the left side off the glove of Colbeck, and it'll be a leadoff error by Brandon Valley and the first base runner of the ball game for Post State. Second time that Gordon has reached on an error against Brandon Valley here in the tournament. And that'll bring up McGuire Rasky, the DH, back into the lineup after not playing in game one because Stout was the starter. And Stout's the only pitcher that we see that does not have a DH for him. Maybe Gray Zabel would have been the only other one this year, but Stout now with obviously Gray at North Dakota State, he's the only guy that will hit for himself while he's pitching. First pitch is outside for ball one.
And again, this is a ball game where you kind of wonder, how many runs are going to be scored. I mean, you're going with a little different. You're not seeing the 1 and 2s of each team's pitching staff. So this might be a game where maybe the small ball, is taken out of play because you got to put multiple runs, multiple crooked numbers up on the board to win a game like this.
Count is 1-1 now as Rasky swings and misses. Rasky yesterday went 1 for 2. He singled, was going to try for a double, and ended up tripping over around first base, and was able to get back to first base, but he was unable to get that double. He swings and misses. It's now 1-2 to McGuire Rasky.
Rasky hitting .351 on the year, 20 hits, 57 at bats. He's got 4 doubles and 12 RBIs. And remember, Rasky sat out most of the first half of the year after he sustained that elbow injury in the first in the second doubleheader of the season, and luckily he's able to continue to play. He played very sparingly in the field, but he's really taken a role as the full-time DH with this team in the second half of the year.
He fouls the 1-2 pitch back. It remains a 1-2 count. Nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. Gordon leads away from first. He reached on an error from the third baseman Colbeck. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Seneha to McGuire Rasky. Upstairs, looked like a curveball that didn't break, and it remained. And now is a 2-2 count.
Rasky's been through the battles at the state tournament. I think this is his 4th state tournament, even though he's only will be a senior here as school starts here in a couple weeks.
Here's the 2-2 pitch to Rasky. Inside, upstairs, and the count is full now at 3-2. Gordon doesn't have a whole lot of speed over at first base compared to a lot of the other runners from Pierre, but we'll see if he gets a green light to take off on a 3-2 count. Rasky, knock on wood and announcer's curse, he doesn't strike out a whole lot to put the ball in play. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Gordon will take off. Nope, it is taken for strike 3, but Andy Gordon goes back to first. And Rasky was not happy with that out call, and home plate umpire started to walk with Rasky, and then ends up getting the ball from Jack Van Camp, who's returning the ball back into play. So Rasky goes down on strikes. Gordon started to go but stops, and there's one down with a runner on first here in the bottom of the second. And here's Jack Van Camp, the center fielder. Winning pitcher in game 1 of the day. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1. This is Post State's 50th game of the season. They did not play even 45 games last year with a normal 2019 season and a normal state tournament where they got 3 games as well. This is going to be game number 50 of the year. Count is 2-0. And you hope that you can play game 51 and game 52 tomorrow. and ended on the note of a state championship victory. But you're still 3 wins away from that and 2 more teams to eliminate. You can do another elimination here tonight. 2-0 counts to Van Camp. Here is the 2-0 pitch. That one is right down the middle. It's now 2-1 to the center fielder, Van Camp.
Yeah, and Post State comes in 32-17 on the year. Like you said, 50th game of the year. Hard to believe that this group has been able to squeeze 50 games into about 9 weeks. I mean, I think the first game was about the 6th of June, 4th of June, something like that.
As that one is over for strike 2. I think it was June 7th was the first game. So we've played our 50th game 2 months and a day after we got our first 2 games in. That's incredible. That's a lot of baseball in a very short amount of time for any club all the way to the major leagues. That's a lot of baseball. But here's Post State, a chance still with a 2-2 counts. Runner on first base. Here's the pitch to Van Camp. Comes inside and taken for strike 3. Van Camp moved back the legs to trying to avoid getting hit, and he goes down and is now 2 down here in the bottom of the second, and it'll bring up Lincoln Keenholz.
And Senaha has the curveball working where it's a hard curveball that dives right at the end, and both of the last 2 strikeout pitches have been at almost the feet is where Skolton has received the pitch, and that's been the strikeout pitch for both Rasky and for Van Camp to the left-handers, and so Senaha has been very effective throwing that pitch to the lefties tonight. We'll see if he keeps it working.
First pitch is upstairs to Lincoln Keenholz. Taken for ball 1. Keenholz was the starter in that game yesterday against Brandon Valley. Went those 2 innings scoreless and then was knocked around after that. The 1-0 is right down the middle. It's now 1-1. Leadoff air from Andy Gordon. He has not moved from first base. It's been back-to-back strikeouts, called third strikes to Rasky and Van Camp. And Keenholz is trying to put the ball in play and give Andy Gordon a chance to try and run around the rest of the bases here. Here's the 1-1 from Senaha to Keenholz. From the stretch, he'll deliver. Upstairs, 2-1. Only 1 hit so far for Brandon Valley. 1 base runner so far from Post State. A little bit different than what we saw yesterday when the 8 scored at once in the first and once in the second. 2-1 pitch instead of check over at first and diving back in safely is Gordon.
Senaha, one of the youngest members of the Brandon Valley squad. He and Matt Brown, who's also in the starting lineup tonight for Brandon Valley, both rising juniors. So we'll see them, and they will darken the doorstep of Post State's fields for the next couple of years.
Count is 3-1 now to Lincoln Keenholz as that one missed well high again. Again, we're about to welcome you into Sunday. We got 11 minutes left until we welcome you into Sunday back in the capital city. And I hope that we can bring you basically 3 games of baseball on the day of Sunday. Or at least two full games and part of a third game. 3-1 pitch is grounded right back to the mound. And a underhand flip from Senaha to the first baseman, Skorcheski. And that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 man left on base. 2 full complete. Pierre and Brandon Valley are scoreless. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Top of the third inning. It is 9-1-2 Lake Trevere. Then it'll be Matt Brown and Dane Payton. John Lickler alongside Greg Dean. As we are scoreless, heading into the top of the third, Matt Lusk is on the mound for Post State. Don't say his name very often this early in a ball game. It hasn't had too many starts so far this season. But here's the first pitch to the number 9 hitter, Lake Trevier. Popped it up on foul territory. Hinkle will give it a small chase, and it will land foul out of play. And it's 0-1.
Yep, for Matt Lusk, this is his 14th appearance on the year, but he's only thrown 24 innings so far. So you can see that most of his work has been an inning at a time. He does have one start. He's 3-0 on the year. Does have those 4 saves. 25 strikeouts to go with a 2.63 ERA.
Count is now 0-2. Here to the leadoff hitter, Trevier. The 0-2 pitch from Lusk to the center fielder is foul out of play, and it will remain at 0-2. Crowd has thinned out a little bit in terms of we had Rapid City fans, Brandon Valley fans, and Pierre fans all here at the same time waiting for that first game to get over. And Rapid City fans have decided they're probably well off to go to bed and kind of wait to see who wake up in the morning and see who they're playing, which is scheduled to start at 1 o'clock Central Time, 12 noon, if Post State is able to get the win. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Inside, now 2-2.
I do see a couple of the Post 22 players over here to our right, sitting at one of the picnic tables, taking in the game, as well as the entire Renner Royals roster is down in the front row right behind home plate.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. That one is a check swing, did not go, and the count is now full 3-2. So Trevier's in a good 0-2 now to a full count. The leadoff man making the starting pitcher throw a lot of pitches in this first at bat at the top of the third. 3-2 pitch is grounded up the middle. Diving, not stopped by Garrett Stout. Looked like he got a piece of it, but it goes into center field for a leadoff single. And it's the second hit of the ball game for Brandon Valley. And the first got their leadoff man aboard in this game. And that'll bring up the leadoff hitter in the order, and Matt Brown, who grounded out to the second baseman Coverdale in his first at bat.
And the other thing to keep in mind in any state tournament setting, you as a pitcher can only appear twice in 3 days. So even if Lusk were to stay under that 30 pitch count, so his pitch count would keep him available tomorrow. This would be his second appearance, so he would not be available if the Eights are going to be able to make it into Sunday.
And again, that is something to kind of think about too, and to let Lusk, and if he continues to throw like this, just to let him ride it out. And that pickoff attempt and taking off for a second, turning back around now, got into a pickle. Couple of fake throws and now to first base. Gordon now will chase. The throw to second, an attack from Coverdale, and leadoff man is retired out of that pickle. And there's one down here in the top of the third.
Yep, just your basic 1-3-6-3-4 put out.
There you go. I was about ready to say it. If you weren't going to say it, I was going to say it. So
you and I hang around each other too much.
I don't know.
Which I'm scared for you if you and I are starting to think alike.
I was going to say, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for you either. It's been hopefully been good for everybody listening at home and throughout the season. We've had a couple of times where we've gotten a little bit of some trouble from everybody else through Twitter and whatnot.
That's just mainly Dirk Campbell and Ryan Kruger, taking umbrage at some of your references to the Cubs.
Dirk texted me earlier tonight and said, "Hey, send me a text whenever the game starts." And I said, "Only if you say go Cardinals." He did not say that. He did not like that. The count is 2-1. I did text him though and said that the game was on. So he is probably listening right now and hopefully going to enjoy this ball game all the way through. A 2-1 pitch. Wilmette is now 3-1 here to Matt Brown. Nobody on base here with one down the top of the third off the leadoff single. A pickoff from Lusk was able to get into a pickle of and get him out to retire him and clear the bases. Here's a 3-1 pitch from Matt Lusk to Matt Brown. There's a ground ball chopper way over the head of Keenels in the deep hole short. Long throw to first is not in time. But a great play from Stout all the way in that deep hole short in the outfield grass to make that a close play. Shows the athleticism and the arm that Stout has to make that close at all.
Yeah, and like you said, just a chopper over the top of Lincoln Keenholz at third, and Stout had to go about 4 or 5 steps to his to his right and was actually a step or two onto the outfield grass and made a strong throw across the diamond. And if not for the speedy Brown, he's only safe by about a step because Stout threw an absolute rocket across the field to Andy Gordon, and so thankfully that pickoff attempt was successful. Otherwise Brandon might have runners first and second here.
First pitch is in the second is going to be Brown, although it was a good block from Hinkle, got way out in front of him, and Brown didn't read it well right away, so he stayed at first base. And the count is 1-0 here to Dane Payton, who singled and was stranded over at third base back in the top of the first inning.
Yeah, the Hinkle blocked the ball, but the ball actually rebounded off of his shin guards and back out into fair territory. And Hinkle actually had to try to recover the ball. And if Brown reads that play properly, he's probably standing on second base right now.
1-0 pitch is at the knees, and it's now 1-1. Again, if you're looking for severe weather coverage over on Capital City Rock Country 95.3, Zach Nelson and DT Meyer have that for you, as well as the Today's KCCR Facebook page. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Matt Lusk to Dane Payton. Runner is off and swinging at it on a hit and run as Payton will foul away, and it's now 1-2.
Yeah, and a hit and run was on for Brandon at the time, and that's something we haven't seen Post State do a lot of in the last two games. Something they did a lot throughout the season was deploy that hit and run play, and we just haven't seen them use it much out here in Rapid City at the state tournament.
1-2 pitch from Lusk to Payton. Upstairs, 2-2. As, again, runner on first here with one down. Has been 2 hits in the inning. The first 2 guys got a base hit. Here's the third man in the order, but it's in the order this inning. But there's only a runner on first base after a pickoff was successful. And a ground ball could get you out of this inning. Here's a 2-2 pitch. There's a fly ball out to right field. A.J. Gayden will go towards the right field line. He's in the foul territory. He'll make the catch. Runner's starting to tag. The throw will come into second. Stout will block it up, and there's 2 down. Fine play out in right field from A.J. Gayden as the ball kept tailing away from him in foul territory.
Yeah, he had to come a long way and off of his and for the most part, the Pierre outfielders are playing pretty much straight away, and so Gayden playing relatively deep, but pretty much straight away, and he actually caught that ball kind of medium deep and about 3 steps into foul territory. So good thing that AJ Gayden's got some pretty decent wheels out there. Otherwise, that ball would have fallen in for a harmless strike.
Pickoff attempt over at first base, and back in safely is Brown. Here is Connor Connect at the plate. He walked in his first plate appearance. The number 3 hitter in the order for Brandon Valley. From the stretch, Lusk will come. He'll deliver the first pitch of the at-bat to Connect after a long pause. That one will get in the dirt. Hinkle blocked it up. The throw to second is going to get over in almost into center field, and Stout was able to make the catch, backing it up, and that saved a runner from being in third base, because as Hinkle kind of quickly twisted and turned around to make that throw, he almost blindly threw it well to the second base side of the bag. But Stout backing up almost had to make a diving catch to keep that in front, but he did, and he keeps the runner at second in Brown.
Yeah, if this were a football game, Hinkle would have hit Stout in stride at about 30-plus yards downfield.
The 1-0 is outside, and it's now 2-0.
Would have hit him on a crossing route coming across the field on some kind of a long post pattern.
And Stout's not used to. Well, I guess he was used to catching passes from Peyton Zabel, but not catching passes after Peyton graduated. And Hinkle never played offense. There's a line shot out in the right field. A.J. Gayden will go over, and he will make the catch, and that will retire the side here in the top of the third. No runs on 2 hits, no errors, and only 1 man left on base. 2.5 is complete. Pierre and Brandon Valley are still scoreless. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. It is going to be the bottom of the third inning, and for those that are listening back at the capital city, happy Sunday to you. You're listening to KCCR Pierre Riverfront Broadcasting Station, 12:01 Central Time. And for you sitting at home, enjoying your now Saturday night into your Sunday morning, we are glad that you are with us here for a late night of baseball. And we hope that it's not the final night of baseball for Post State. A.J. Gaden will lead off. It will be followed by Cade Hinkle, then back to the top of the order for Andrew Coverdale. Greg Dean joins me up here in the press box. And
just a quick weather update. The severe weather, the severe thunderstorm watch still in effect for Stanley, Hughes, and Sully counties, although it looks like most of the activity and most of the dangerous weather is down to the south and east of the Pierre area, down in the Brule, Charles Mix, very eastern Lyman, and Gregory County areas. So I think the worst of it is probably south and east and moving away from the capital city.
As the first pitch comes in and hits A.J. Gaden. So there's the second base runner now for Post State, still without their first hit. But it is going to be Cade Hinkle, and we'll see if maybe a bunt is going to be on here with the top of the order up next. Hinkle will show bunt. Coming in and charging as a third baseman. The ball will get away behind the catcher of Skolton, and in the second will be A.J. Gaden. So bunt will probably be taken off now with Hinkle taking the first pitch low for ball one. Looked like it was a fairly good pitch. Could have been called a strike if it was caught cleanly, but I think it will be ball one.
Yeah, the ball just went through, and to use the hockey term, just went right through the 5-hole, right between Skolton's legs, and like you said, it was actually a pretty good pitch, probably not a buntable pitch, and so Hinkle pulls back on the bunt attempt and just skips all the way to the backstop, and now Gaden's on second. We'll see if the bunt is on. Looks like it might be.
Yeah, as Hinkle will show bunt. That one is outside now, 2-0 as he pulled it back. Skorcheski is, probably not even 5 feet from home plate. If Hinkle pulls it back and swings, Skorcheski is in a very, very dangerous position as the shortstop, and Peyton will come in and talk with the pitcher in Sainaha. Speaking of hockey, I want to make a correction because I thought it was some hockey guys that kind of was chirping at Washingberger. It was not any of the hockey guys, so I want to make that correction because there's a couple of those guys that came up and said, well, you're kind of bad-mouthing us on the radio. I've heard you're bad-mouthing us, and had to make the correction that they did not chirp, though, Washingberger in that first game as the 2-0 is outside, and it's now 3-0 to Cade Hinkle.
Yeah, and again, Skorcheski he's starting right now. He's about 4 steps in on the grass, and then he's coming hard with the pitch, and so by the time the pitch crosses home plate, he's actually only about 20 feet from home plate.
Hinkle will still bunt the 3-0 pitch. It will be a sacrifice, and I don't think Coach White wanted him to try and bunt the ball. So A.J. Gaden is over at third base, and there's one down here, and Coach White, I don't think he's happy that Hinkle put that bunt down. Gaden's over at third base, but here is Andrew Coverdale. And I thought maybe that he would let that first pitch come in, pull it back, and see if he can get ball 4. But sacrifice is good. 3-4 in the putout, and here's Andrew Coverdale with one down and trying to bring in the first run of the ball game. First pitch from Sainaha to Coverdale is over for strike one. Coverdale in his first at bat lined out, to the first baseman, Skorcheski. Looking for another hard line drive. Wade Skorcheski is playing in on the grass right now. Thought the corners would be in, but it's just the first baseman that is in on the grass. Another line shot like he did the first time. There's a ground ball that will get the run home. They thought about throwing home was Chevalier, but he will throw it over to first, and Andrew Coverdale will have an RBI ground out, and Post State has broken the ice here on the bottom of the third inning with their first run on the RBI ground out.
And the eights take advantage of the hit batter and push a run across the old-fashioned way. Get a run without benefit of a hit. Hit by pitch, pass ball, sacrifice bunt, ground ball to the right side, and the eights have, like you said, broken the ice and are up 1-0 here in the bottom of the third.
River Iverson takes high for ball 1, 2 down here in the bottom of the third inning. As it appears the first time this tournament is the home team. Here's the 1-0 pitch. That one is popped out into shallow center field, right center. The second baseman, Chevalier, will make the catch out in right center field, and that will retire the side here in the bottom of the third. 1 run scores, no hits in the inning, no errors, and no one left on base. We head to the fourth. Pierre has the first lead of the ball game. They lead 1-0 over Brandon Valley. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back, it is the top of the fourth inning. As it is going to be Jackson Haas to lead things off, the number 4 hitter, 4, 5, and 6. Haas, Kobeck, and Skolton. 1-0 lead here for Post State as they lead Brandon Valley. First pitch, swing and a miss. It's 0-1. Haas flew out to the fielder, and Iverson back in the top of the first inning. Scoreboard looks a little odd up there. 0-3-1 for Brandon. 1-0-0 for Pierre. That first number is the most important one in this ball game. No matter what the other two might say. The count is 1-1 as that one misses low and outside.
John, there's been a significant weather advisory posted for Southern Hyde, Southeastern Stanley, Southeastern Hughes, and Eastern Lyman County. I'll finish that here in a second.
Leadoff single in the right field for Haas, and the leadoff man is aboard for the second straight inning for Brandon.
Yeah, Southern Hyde, Southeastern Stanley, Southeastern Hughes, Eastern Lyman, Central Buffalo. At midnight, Doppler radar was tracking strong thunderstorms along a line extending from near the Cedar Creek Rec area to 8 miles northeast of Iona. Movement was northeast at 15 miles an hour, wind gusts of 50 to 55 miles an hour possible.
Here's the first pitch to Joel Kolbeck, the number 5 hitter, as Matt Lusk will work from the stretch again here quickly to try and bunt. First pitch is over for strike one. And again, for those that are looking for severe weather coverage, it is over on Capital City Rock 104.5, also Country 95.3, and on the Today's KCCR's Facebook page. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Lusk as Kolbeck again showing bunt. He will continue to try and show bunt, pulls it back, and it's going to get all the way back to the fence. And Hinkle is going to avoid the umpire. And over at second base now is Haas. And, I get, he didn't run very hard because it was going to be an easy jog to second base. But if he's running full force, he probably takes third base because it took a long time for Hinkle to find where the ball was at. And now also had to kind of dance around the umpire as well.
Yeah, and this inning's starting out kind of like Post State's inning did last time in the bottom of the third. Leadoff batter gets on. Pass ball gets him to second. We'll see if Kolbeck still has the bunt sign here.
1-1 pitch. Kolbeck not showing bunt, takes it outside for ball 2. And Kolbeck is another danger. Well, there's not too many non-dangerous hitters in this Brandon Valley lineup, but he is 0 for 1 in this ball game, but was 1 for 1 yesterday with an RBI double. The base hit could tie the ball game up. 2-1 pitch. He's showing bunt, pulls it back, and it's now 3-1. Matt Lusk with a walk in the first and, well, actually, he has just one walk so far in this ball game. Much different than how the game started earlier today for Post State, as Stout struggled to throw strikes and to consistently throw strikes. Had several walks in that one. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Outside, and it's a walk to Kolbeck in his first and second with nobody out. And he'll bring up Thomas Skolton. And Coach White will make his way out to talk with Matt Lusk. And again, sets the double play back up, a ground ball up the middle, and you can find yourself a 6-4 or 4-6-3 double play, and you can all of a sudden turn this inning, what looks like a good start to Brandon Valley, could turn things on its head real quick. But also for Brandon Valley, you got runners at first and second with nobody out. You got 6, 7, and 8 coming up. These are 3 really good hitters. This inning can quickly go in a good favor for Brandon Valley.
Yeah, and again, this is a situation where again, right now, looks like runs might be a premium tonight, and so again, Coach White just coming out. This is more of a pep talk, not really more of a mechanical anything that he's detected. But again, Matt Lusk's pitch count is starting to move up there. He's now at 61 pitches. You add in the 4 from the previous game, he's at 65. So he's only got 40 pitches left on the night, and he's just 2 batters into his 4th inning of work.
First and seconds, showing bunt is Skolten. First pitch from Lusk to Skolten. He'll pull it back, swing, and floated into shallow center field, but the infield fly rule is going to be called as Garrett Stout was able to take a couple steps into center field and make the catch. And there's 1 down. And again, that one wasn't as routine as the other one that went in the outfield earlier today, but still routine enough where Stout, if he drops the ball, could easily turn a double play off of it. And that's why the infield fly rule was called, even though he was a couple steps into the outfield.
Yeah, and you waited. I kept watching and waiting for the third base umpire to make the call, and finally, just not too long before the ball settled into Garrett Stout's glove, did he finally make that infield fly call. It wasn't really a fly ball; it was just kind of more of a lazy line drive, and so just kind of waiting on the call, and finally the field umpire made that call, and I think it was the right call.
Count is 1-0 here to Brad Skorcheski, who grounded out to the shortstop Stout in his first at-bat. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Matt Lusk to Skorcheski. That one's upstairs, and ducking his head out of the way was Skorcheski, and it's now 2-0. As Skorcheski had the barrel, the end of the barrel of the bats, and had a practice swing with the handle. Interesting move there from Skorcheski. Here's the 2-0 pitch from Lusk to Skorcheski. Popped up. That one's going to get out of play, and it will land behind the press box. I thought maybe can't see where that ball is going to be at, as there's a little overhang here, but still holding out hope for a potential foul ball this year.
Yeah, there's a potential for you here. We're right behind home plate, and there is a fairly good-sized chain link fence, probably about a 20-foot chain link fence right in front of us, but a ball at the right angle with the right altitude could land right in your mitts and make 2020 exactly ended on a high note for you.
Another bingo another
spot on the bingo card.
Knock it off. It's trying to get that 2020 bingo card. It's the blackout, not a diagonal or up and down or horizontal or diagonal. It is straight. You got to fill everything out because you're probably going to get to that point anyway. Here's a 2-1 pitch from Lusk to Skorcheski. Is on its way and over for strike 2. And the count is now at 2-2. They had a pickoff attempt and a good timing play from Stout and Lusk, and had a close play over at second base, but Haas was able to get back in safely with standing up, as he wasn't entirely ready for that pickoff attempt. Here's a 2-2 pitch. Now to Skorcheski, looking for a ground ball or a strikeout. Timeout is called by Skorcheski, and everybody will get reset.
Yeah, and right now, a ground ball double play. Skorcheski's got the ability to hit the ball hard someplace. If he could hit it right at one of the post 8 infielders, some kind of a double play would be just what the doctor ordered for the 8s right now. 2-2
is missed outside, and it's now 3-2 with 1 down. And Coach Van Heel is kept telling everybody, we're not stealing here. We're not just going to go with this pitch. Maybe he's going to put the sign on to go. I don't think he will, the runner on second. But here's the 3-2 from Lusk to Skorcheski with 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. Outside, and it's a 1-out walk. The bases are now loaded. Second walk issued in the game, or the inning, from Matt Lusk, third in the game. And that'll bring up Michael Chevalier with 1 down. He struck out looking in his first at-bat. A ground ball could get you out of the inning. They are going to play back in the middle in at the corners. Ground ball to the first, third, or back to the mound. It'll be a force out at home. Stout and Coverdale at short and second will try and roll a double play. Here's the first pitch to Chevalier. That one's upstairs, ball one.
Yeah, and Lusk has really not had a bad line tonight. 3 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, no earned, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. But his pitch count is getting elevated because he's working deep into a lot of counts tonight.
1-0 is inside now, 2-0. Coach White used that visit earlier this inning, so either Cade Hinkle's going to go out and talk, or Matt Lusk's got to find a way without any kind of a breakup here. Winner of this game will face Rapid City Post 22 in the championship. That one is scheduled for less than 13 hours from now. 2-0 pitch, foul back, and it's now 2-1. We're going to have some action down the bullpen, I believe, here soon, as
Jake Mayer is heading down to the bullpen for the eights.
Mayer threw yesterday, but did not throw more than 30 pitches for him to be available here today. And the count is 2-1 here to Chevalier. So it looks like Mayer is going to be the first man in relief and not Garrett Stout. Here's the 2-1 from Lusk to Chevalier. That's flown out to center field. Van Camp will come in. I don't think it's going to be far enough for a tag. They will try it and then will stop as the throw will come in, cut off by Gordon. That's a great throw from Jack Van Camp. And a good job from Matt Lusk to pick up the second out. And then it comes down to Lake Trevier to either tie the ball game up, give Brandon Valley the lead, or it'll be a 1-0 lead for Post State going to the bottom of the fourth.
Yeah, and just a kind of a lazy fly ball hit down into short center field, and we know that Jack Van Camp has got a really good arm out in the outfield. We've seen it on exhibit a couple of different times this year, and the throw came through on a line and was able to be cut off by Andy Gordon right at the pitcher's mound, and so because of that, Haas is not able to tag up and score from third, and the Eats still are protecting that 1-0 lead here in the top of the fourth.
Count is 0-1 to Lake Trevier. Lusk will work from the windup. The 0-1 pitch. That one's popped up. Garrett Stout into shallow center field. Will take a couple steps back. He'll make the catch, and Matt Lusk will dance out of danger. They strand the bases loaded to Brandon Valley in the top of the fourth. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 3 men left on base. 3.5 gone by. Pierre leads Brandon Valley 1-0. You listen to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com.
3 men left on base.
As we go into the bottom of the fourth inning, Post State will have 3, 4, and 5. Garrett Stout, Andy Gordon, and McGuire Rasky. With a 1-0 lead after Matt Lusk was able to get out of danger and make it strand the bases loaded. And 1 down for Brandon Valley, and they strand the bases loaded. As John Winkler alongside Greg Dean here on this still Saturday evening in Rapid City, Sunday morning back home in the capital city. And we hope to bring you some more baseball later on today for Post State. If they get the win, they will be in the state championship. Stout launches the first pitch out to right, but it's going to hang out too much. And the 1 pitch and 1 out. Another John Sterling call there for you. Everybody got a little excited on that one. There's 1 pitch and 1 out here to open up the bottom of the fourth inning.
Yeah, and it's a cool night out here, and the air is just really heavy right now, and just any ball that comes off the bat just is not flying well tonight. I mean, when I saw that one go up, I really thought it had a chance to maybe not go out, but certainly get to the warning track, and turned out to be just a medium deep fly ball.
First pitch is over for strike one to Andy Gordon. Gordon reached on an air to open up the bottom of the second inning. He was the first base runner that Post State had. The 0-1 pitch is a swing and a miss, and it's now 0-2. Post State has had just 2 base runners so far. They scored the runner in the third inning, stranded the runner in the second inning, and you look at the other way, Brandon Valley's already stranded 6 guys in through 4 innings. So they're struggling to kind of keep up with the base runners here as Post State, as Gordon will swing and a miss, and it's now a second out, and the first strikeout for Gordon, third strikeout of the game for Sainaha.
Okay, so there's starting to be some action down in the Brandon Valley bullpen. That's Hunter Marceau for Brandon Valley. So that raises an interesting rule interpretation, John. Marceau threw 90-some pitches in Game 3 against Mitchell on Wednesday, so he would need 4 days rest. So if this game goes past midnight, is that considered Sunday?
That is interesting. And that's the thing too, is that one's fouled straight back to the screen, and it's now 1-1. Because when you look at it and you say, well, if Marceau would throw and it would be considered Sunday, and he throws however many pitch, or I guess then you could say, well, if he threw 60 pitches here in this game, he could come back and throw again tomorrow.
I see he's retreated back to the dugout, so maybe it's a non-issue, but it does bring up an interesting rule interpretation that, in all honesty, I had not thought of.
Yeah, and that'll be, and I think a lot of it is the pitch count will go to the day that the game started, but that doesn't mean that I'm correct about it either, because there's not been a whole lot of times that we're going to go past midnight to continue calling a baseball game. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Rasky. He'll swing and miss, and he goes down on strikes. 1-2-3 inning for Sainaha as he strikes out 2 here in the fourth, 4 strikeouts in the ball game. We head to the top of the 5th. We have a 1-0 lead for Pierre over Brandon Valley. Listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Top of the 5th inning. It is a 1-0 lead here for the Eights over Brandon Valley. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean. Top of the order. Matt Brown, Dane Payton, and Connor Connect for the Lynx as they are still trying to tie this ball game up. We've seen 7 of the 8 half innings have been all zeros. Just 1 run so far between these 2 teams. First pitch. Matt Brown pops it straight up in front of home plate. Lincoln Keenels over at third. He will make the catch. And I tell you what, that's a really tough play for an infielder to have to come in as far as what he did and have to stand there and wait for that ball to come in. That was a major league pop-up from Matt Brown. And especially at nighttime, that ball starts to move a little bit more, it seems like. And Keenel was able to stay with it to make the catch and to retire the first man in 1 pitch.
Yeah, and again, what you're looking for from Matt Lusk right now is you'd really like to see a nice quick inning. I mean, he's up at 75 pitches, 76 pitches now with that first pitch there, and so he's got just 26 pitches to work with here tonight.
1-0 is at the letters, and it's now 1-1. Payton maybe not appreciating that call. He's 1 for 2, singled in the first, flew out to the right fielder in the third. Bats here with 1 out in the top of the 5th. Here's the 1-1 pitch. There's a ground ball to Coverdale over at second. He'll make the play. Tough hop. The throw to first is in time. A little low, but Gordon is able to stay with it. And there's 2 quickly down here in the top of the 5th. And that'll bring up the number 3 hitter in Connor Connect. As Connect is 0 for 1. He walked and flew out to the right fielder as well back in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, and a dangerous hitter like Connect, you're glad to see him come to the plate with nobody on base.
First pitch is skied out to left center field. That one is going to go off the wall. Picked up by Iverson out in the gap. Rounding second and heading for third. Stout will cut it off. They'll fire to third base, and in the third base, standing up with a 2-out triple is Connect. And Greg, you're exactly right. If there's a runner on base at all, it's a tie ball game. But it's a 2-out triple that if you get Jackson Haas here, you can end the inning and keep this a 1-0 lead. And Coach White will come back out again and maybe talk some strategy. Well, he pointed over to Garrett Stout. I think Matt Lusk is going to be done, and it'll bring up Garrett Stout back to the mound. So Lusk will end here with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning, and Garrett Stout's going to come back to the mound as he threw in the first game, but has 41 pitches, I believe, to work with here in this second game. We'll step aside for a minute, tell you the changes. You're listening to Post-State Baseball on today's KCCR, today's KCCR.com. So Garrett Stout is back on the mound here for game number 2 of the day. He's got 51 pitches to work with as he threw 54 in game 1 earlier. This is his last appearance of the season, as for Stout, he'd have to have those 4 days of rest. Well, I guess right now you'd only have to have 1 day of rest, or 2 days of rest, but he's going to get up to that probably near 100 pitch count before he's removed from this game, or whatever, end of the ball game, whatever comes first. He's got 7 outs that he can work with here to get Post State a win if they stay with a 1-0 lead. But this is a big-time spot for Stout to come in with the tying run at third base, and Jackson Haas, who's 1 for 2. Connor Connect was over at third. Jackson Haas is at the plate after the 2-out triple from Connect. Matt Lusk,
go ahead.
Matt Lusk is out in center. Van Camp's out in right. Gaten at third, and Keenel's at short. First pitch is over for strike 1.
For Lusk on the night, 4 2/3 innings pitched, 5 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 1 strikeout, 79 pitches, 42 for strikes. He is responsible for Connect on third base right now.
0-1 is upstairs, and it's 1-1. As you said in the commercial break, can't be the winner, cannot be the loser in this ball game. And you hope that he is the winner. Count is 1-1 to Jackson Haas, the cleanup hitter. Stout comes set, 1-1 pitch. Outside, well outside. A good job by Hinkle to stab that one. And it's now 2-1. So again, Stout doesn't have the normal pitches that you would say, well, you're not any kind of close for him coming out of the game. He's not really close right now, but he's only got 48 pitches to work with. Now 47 as that pitch misses low, and it's now 3-1. Not a bad pitch there from Stout, but not fishing for it was Haas.
And with the trouble that Stout had in locating the strike zone earlier today, you kind of wonder if Coach Van Heel isn't telling his batters to go up and try to work deep into a count and see if you can work a walk or just try to drive up that pitch count tonight.
Count is 3-1, and for Stout, who will play at SDSU in the spring, baseball for the Jackrabbits. 3-1 pitch. Comes inside, and it's over for strike 2. And Haas was looking for a walk, and that was actually kind of close to hitting him too, but he's crowding the plate on the inside edge, and it did cross, so the count is full now at 3-2. He's looking to end at Post State, for Stout, looking to end his career here at Post State with a strong performance on the mound. 3-2 pitch. That one will miss. It's going to get off the backstop. Hinkle almost tripped and fell as he was getting the ball back because it hit whatever it hit down below. If it hit the pole right there, it came right back to Hinkle. And it kept the runner over at third base. So a break for Post State, although Haas draws the 2-out walk and it's now first and third. And they will check the baseball out before they get potentially they get another baseball thrown in, and Stout's able to continue to throw with it. But my goodness, that was very, very close.
Yeah, there's a rubber pad about a foot and a half high at the base of the backstop here at Pete Lean Field, and usually that's enough to deaden that ball, but it's like you said, John, it hit right off the pole that supports the chain link fence here and bounced right back to Cade Hinkle and kept that runner at third base because of it.
Colbeck takes ball one. The 1-0 pitch is outside and is now 2-0 here to Joe Colbeck. And again, for those that are looking for severe weather coverage, as there's a severe thunderstorm warning for Buffalo, Handy, Hughes, Hyde, and Lyman until 1:15 in Central Time. It's over on Capital City Rock and Country 95.3. 2-0 pitch, popped up on the right side. I think it's going to get out of play and just barely get out of play, and it's now 2-1. Boy, that one went off, I believe, the dugout, but still, I mean, that was a couple inches to the left, and Hinkle has a chance. Gordon has a chance to make that play to get out of the inning, but the count now is 2-1. And Colbeck was probably he might have been standing over at the plate trying to push that ball to get out of play, so he has another chance here. Here's a 2-1 pitch from Stout to Colbeck. Upstairs, 3-1. And this is a big spot, too, because you don't want to walk the bases loaded, and Stout's been having command issues in the last three appearances now. 3-1 pitch. That one misses, and it's a walk, and the bases are now loaded. And we'll see how long that Garrett Stout will have on the mound. It'll be Thomas Skolton, who is 0 for 2. He flew out to right field and also lined out to the shortstop, Stout. And Cade Hinkle will go out and talk with Garrett Stout. Well, this is going to be tough. You know, you want your number one guy. You want to go win or lose with your number one guy, and that's kind of how Coach Peyton Zabel was talking about too before we started talking to him on the air. But Stout is at the point where this might be his last batter if he can't retire him. As it's Thomas Skolton with the bases loaded and 2 down here in the top of the 5th. First pitch, over for strike one at the letters.
And again, similar to what happened earlier today, when Garrett Stout has been missing, he's been missing out and away, and so he's got to bring that fastball back inside to get it across the plate.
A 1 pitch is outside, and it's now 1-1.
You know, I don't know if he's dropping his arm a little bit and coming a little more across his body, which is forcing that ball out into the left-hand batter's box. Maybe he's just got to come a little bit more over the top.
1-1 pitch, also missing outside and low, and it's now 2-1. Can't go out and talk to him, can Coach White or Zabel. If you do, you got to take him out. So this is for Garrett Stout to either figure out, or Brandon Valley will tie the ball game up. Bases are loaded here with 2 down the top of the 5th. Here's a 2-1 pitch. That one will miss low, and it's now 3-1. And Stout has to throw a strike here, and a good hitter's count for Thomas Skolton.
Yeah, and you know, this is where the competitor that Garrett Stout is, well, you know he's going to give it everything he's got right now.
3-1 pitch. Fly ball out to right field is in foul territory. A.J. Gayden trying to get over to it. Jack Van Camp trying to get over to it. Actually, that's Matt Lusk. And he won't be able to reach it, and it's now a 3-2 count. Gayden's over at third base. Van Camp is actually staying in center field, so Lusk was on the chase on that one and ran out of real estate. The count is full at 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 down here in the top of the 5th inning.
Biggest pitch of the game right here. Biggest pitch of the game to date so far.
As Garrett Stout had 2 baseballs, he had to give one back to the umpire, and they almost threw another baseball over to Garrett Stout. So count is full at 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Everybody will get a head start. Stout will come from the stretch, the 3-2. Popped up, and that's going to get out of play again, I believe. And it will land foul. And it will remain a full count. And Skolton trying to have Stout throw as many pitches and spoil off anything he doesn't like. Bases are loaded. 3-2 is the count. 2 outs here in the top of the 5th. This is the biggest at bat of this ball game. Number 6 hitter in the order. A triple and 2 walks have loaded the bases. 3-2. Popped up, center field. Van Camp's got a long run. Coming in, still coming in. He'll make the catch, and Post 8's able to get out of it, and Garrett Stout is fired up. And the rest of the Post 8 team is fired up to get out of this inning. No runs scored, 1 hit, no errors, and 3 men are stranded in the top of the 5th. Pierre leads Brandon Valley 1-0. You're listening to Post 8 Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the 5th inning. Post State still holds a 1-0 lead. Jack Van Camp, Lincoln Keenels, A.J. Gaden, 6, 7, and 8. Kate Hinkle will be the man if anybody reaches base. Brandon Valley has stranded 9 base runners here in 5 innings. Post State has had just 2 base runners all game, and one of those 2 base runners that came around to score. That's the game of baseball for you, Greg.
Yeah, and it's just a funny looking scoreboard, and Post 8 almost stole a game earlier this season against Fargo Post 2 when they had scored 2 runs without benefit of, or 1 run without benefit of a hit, ended up losing that game 2-1 in the bottom of the 7th, but they almost won that game and got no hit. And so let's see if something breaks loose here for Post 8 here in the bottom of the 5th. Either a couple of hits or a couple of extra runs would be huge right now.
First pitch is over for strike 1 to Jack Van Camp, who struck out looking in his first at-bat. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That one will miss low, and it's now 1-1.
Yeah, and let's give a lot of credit to Trey Sainaha from Brandon Valley. To date, his pitching line is 4 innings pitched, no hits, 1 run, no walks, 4 strikeouts. This is his 51st pitch of the night through 4+ innings.
1-1. It comes inside and is now 2-1 to Van Camp.
Sainaha has been very effective and very efficient so far tonight, and again for the rising junior, I hope this is not an omen of what we're going to see out of him over the next couple of years for the Brandon Valley Lynx.
2-1 pitch. Van Camp will golf the pitch and get out of play, and it's now 2-2. Yeah, this is a kid that is shining here in the state tournament. And he's doing every little bit to keep his team in this ball game and try and throw good enough for his team to win. He's thrown good enough in those first 4 innings for his team to win. 2-2 is lined to Skorcheski. He'll barely have to jump to make the play, and the leadoff man is retired here to open up the bottom of the 5th. Then to bring up Lincoln Keenels.
Yeah, and just kind of a soft line drive that Skorcheski, and sometimes those soft liners are the ones that handcuff you the most because you just can't quite read the speed on them. And Skorcheski kind of started to act like he wanted to jump just a fraction of a second early, and then he got a little better read on the ball. Actually, probably wouldn't have had to jump at all. He actually did leave the ground, but got about the width of the blunt phone book under his feet when he did jump.
That was pretty good analogy there.
Thank you.
the 1-0 pitch to Lincoln Keenels. There's a ground ball. There's the first hit of the ball game for Post State as that goes to the right side for a base hit. And there's the third base runner of the game for the Eights, as that'll bring up the number 8 hitter in the order in A.J. Gaden.
I know the width of the blunt fun book because that's what they measure my vertical with.
That's probably what they should be. I don't know. That might be too thick to measure my vertical, too. As A.J. Gaden, he was hit by a pitch in his first trip to the plate. He is the only run to score so far. 2 productive outs were able to score him. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th. Lincoln Keno's lean away from first. That pitch is upstairs for ball 1. And for those that obviously did not see that, everybody did not see that. As Greg made that analogy, sitting there kind of waiting to thinking about what I was going to say next, and had a quick shot over to him. That was good. I enjoyed that one. Here's the 1-0 pitch to A.J. Gaden's upstairs, and it's now 2-0. Every once in a while, you surprise me with how good those analogies are. Not saying that, and I don't mean that in a negative way.
No, I understand. What you're saying to me is all of them are good. It's just some of them are better. Right?
Exactly. Yes, it's exactly what I was trying to say. And as Coach Van Heel will come out and talk with his starting pitching, this is for Senaha the first time we've been to see any kind of struggle from this starting pitcher, and something that maybe Post State can build off of. Really the first time that he's fallen behind hitters. A.J. Gaden got hit on the first pitch. Outside of that, it was an error that allowed Andy Gordon to get on base. He hasn't really had any 2-0 counts to these Post-State hitters.
Yeah, and again, 7, 8, and 9 at the bat for Post-State here in the bottom of the 5th. What it does is it turns you around where after Kate Hinkle, you're turned around to the top of the lineup again. And so again, if you can set the table with the bottom of your order here with Gaden, Keenholz, and Hinkle, you got some really big sticks coming up here in a couple of bats.
2-0 pitch is over for strike 1. Gaden was taken all the way, and it's now 2-1. Over at first base is Keenholz. He's got the first hits of the ball game for Post State, but yet they still lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Senaha will come set from the stretch. Here is the 2-1 pitch to Gaden. Swing and a miss. A good cut there from Gaden, but he couldn't connect, and it's now 2-2.
Yeah, and you really like the swing of A.J. Gaden. Like we said, just a real smooth stroke, comes all the way through, pulls it all the way through. And, and he's really had a nice year after sitting out all last year with arm trouble.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Gaden will foul it back to the fence. It remains at 2-2. Yeah, and we've talked about it and just how he's made this season look easy and how difficult that is. I mean, you miss a season of Major League Baseball while you're still a major leaguer. You still have gotten to that point of maturity. You went from being 16 to now 18. That's a big year, a big transition. You're getting bigger, getting stronger. A lot of these guys are getting stronger, and you missed a whole year. For a high school kid, that is really tough to overcome, as that one is fouled back, and that is caught by, I believe that was John Luska, that he flipped it up and popped somebody on the head with it. And so the count is still at 2-2. What a catch over there by John Lusk. And then he made a really good catch earlier that saved his wife, Tammy Lusk, on one that hit the
press box.
Bounced
at
back.
Hyde Stadium.
At Hyde Stadium, came back and stuck his arm out and able to make the catch. And they'll make that catch out over there in the stands. And then tried to flip it to the guy that was standing up for it. And he turned around and right off the top of the head.
Yeah, so the secret is if you don't want to get hit by a foul ball, sit somewhere near John Lusk.
2-2 pitch. That one will be low, and it's now 3-2. The umpire shook his head as soon as that pitch crossed the zone. Low and maybe a little outside, and the count is full. And we'll see if Keenholz will take off here with the full count and 1 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Wouldn't surprise to see him go in motion here.
From the stretch, runner takes off, swing and a miss. The throw to second is in time, and then strike him out, throw him out to end the inning. AJ.
Oh, and Senaha is pumped up, and he made a number of motions towards the Post-State dugout, and that, I don't know. I don't know what he said, but the body language and the motions toward the Post-State dugout were very, very over the top. Let's put it that way.
No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and no one left on base. Things could get interesting as we go to the top of the 6th inning. 1-0 lead here for Post State over Brandon Valley. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Pete Lean Field, it is a 1-0 lead for Post State over Brandon Valley. It is going to be for the Lynx in this top of the 6th. 7, 8, 9. Skorcheski, Chevalier, and Trevier. And Stout walked off the mound in the top of the 5th, was pumped up. St. Ahab walked off the mound in the bottom of the 5th, pumped up. But both times, those pitchers were looking at the Post State dugout. So things are getting a little intense. Season is on the line here in 2020. This is a late night. We're closing in on midnight here in Rapid City as well. And, hey, emotions are going to play a part in game 1 and maybe a different way than what the emotions will be played part here in this second game, this second elimination game. As Brad Skorcheski will step to the mound, he grounded out in his first at-bat and walked back in the top of the 4th. First pitch, a swing and a miss, a big cut there from Skorcheski. This Brandon Valley team, they can hit the ball all over the yard, and as Skorcheski is up to the plate, he's a swing away from tying this ball game up. 0-1 pitch. There's another big cut, and it's now 0-2.
Yeah, Brandon Valley comes into the weekend hitting .328 in the postseason. I mean, they are a very good offensive team, and so you really have to give credit to the Post State pitchers so far to shut this team down over 5 innings.
0-2 pitch, a swing and a miss, and down on strikes on 3 pitches goes Skorcheski, and there's one down here in the top of the 6th.
Just the second strikeout of the night for the Post State pitching staff.
Here is Michael Chevalier. That's a one that you haven't really been accustomed to, that Post State hasn't striking out a whole lot of other opponents batting, as the first pitch is over for strike 1 to Chevalier. Peyton was on the right over here. Peyton Zabel was talking about he thinks this year might be a record of strikeouts from their pitching staff. The 0-1 pitch, that one is over, and it's now 0-2. They have more strikeouts already than last year. Obviously, they played several more games than they did last year, but he was thinking that this could go in the record books for his most strikeouts from a pitching staff for Post State. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Upstairs at the letters, looked at for strike 3, and Garrett Stout has 6 pitches. All 6 are strikes, and there's 2 down here in the top of the 6th inning.
Yep, and you don't want to jinx it, but right now Garrett Stout's come out in the 6th inning, and he is in a groove.
As it'll be the number 9 hitter, Lake Trevier, that will step to the plate. They're going to throw. Okay, he's going to go to Kate Hinkle. Thought maybe that Van Heel was going to throw it across. And Van Heel, I think, maybe talking about the last strike call to Chevalier, as he went down on strikes for the second time. He's had the 3 strikeouts. He's gone down twice looking. There's a line shot, and we'll keep this 6th inning alive, as Brandon Valley will get a 2-out single from Lake Trevier. His second hit, he's 2 for 3. And here is the top of the order. You weren't going to get away with facing Brandon Valley here in the 6th and 7th inning without having to deal with the top of the order to try and win the ball game. And it's going to be Matt Brown, who is 1 for 3. And a good job by Trevier in that last at-bat while it took the outside pitch in the right field. And we've seen that a lot through both these teams. They like to go where the pitch is thrown. First pitch is upstairs for ball 1 to Brown.
And just looking at the view counter, the head counter on our YouTube feed, I think we're at an all-time high for the night. We're up to 72 right now, and just got a text. Kai and Jenny Weingart are still up in Pierre and listening, as well as probably a number of others. And so thanks for staying with us tonight, because we're getting close to 1 a.m. in Central Time right now.
And a good thing for everybody is get to sleep and potentially maybe do this again here. One is over for strike 2, and it's now 1-2.
So
in
a major leagues, you would probably get the day off after a night game like this, but I don't think that's going to be the case for whichever team wins this game.
1-2 pitch. That one is fouled at the plates, and it remains at 1-2. And here in 9 minutes, we'll have a game 12 hours from now. That's when 12 o'clock Mountain Time is where this first championship game is supposed to start. As Dirk Campbell says, you're right that we're still listening here over in Pierre. That one's fouled into the parking lot, and it remains at 1-2. There's a lot of Pierre faithful that have not headed for the hotel yet, and they don't want to head to the hotel until we see the conclusion of this game. 1-2 pitch is inside, and they flip the ball back, and and they're going to take second base. And Cade Hinkle flipped the ball thinking it was strike 3, didn't get the call, and Coach White is very upset.
What a play.
And Lake Trevere is taking second base on a miscue from Post State, and that's the last thing you want to have happen here in the top of the 6th inning. Now a base hit will tie the ball game up. Here's a 2-2 pitch. There's a ground ball up the middle. That's through for a base hit. Jack Van Camp's going to come up with it. He's going to throw to the plate. The throw coming in, and Hinkle can't make the tag, and it's now a 1-1 ball game. And that mistake will come to hurt Post State. And that's the one that you got to wait for that umpire to make that strike 3 call. And taking second on the throw is Brown on the RBI single. And what Post State was looking for a shutout turns into now they got to get another out here. Otherwise, Brandon Valley's going to take the lead on a base hit from Dane Payton as he's 1 for 3 so far.
Boy, I tell you what, and Hinkle thought it was strike 3. Every Post State fielder was headed off the field because they all thought it was strike 3.
First pitch is over for strike 1 to Garrett Stout, or from Garrett Stout to Dane Payton. Boy, that's one that you hope that ends up not coming back to haunt Post State. There's a fly ball out to left field. Iverson will go over to his right. He will make the catch, and that will retire the side. But after that misplay from Post State, a RBI single from Matt Brown has tied the game up. 1 run on 2 hits in the inning, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the 6th. This is a tie ball game between Pierre and Brandon Valley. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the 6th inning, 9-1-2, Cade Hinkle, Andrew Coverdale, and River Iverson. A chance for Hinkle to make up for his mistake in that bottom of the 6th inning. Thought he was strike 3, and a lot of people, I think, as Greg said, all of Post State thought it was strike 3. I don't even know now what happened with Matt Brown, if he thought it was strike 3 too, but Hinkle flipped the ball back to the mound and just let it roll, and taking second base was Trevere. The next pitch was a base hit that tied the ball game up. Hinkle will swing and miss at the first pitch. And it's 0-1. Just the second time that he's come to the plate, he had a sacrifice bunt that ended up scoring Post State's lone run in the next at bat on the RBI ground out from Andrew Coverdale. But this is the time for Post State to reclaim the lead with 9-1-2 as Sainaha throws the 0-1 low, and it's now 1-1.
Yeah, just 64 pitches on the night for Sainaha through 5+ innings. I mean, he is in no danger of having to leave this game because of pitch count.
1-1's a swing and a miss, and it's now 1-2 to Cade Hinkle, Andrew Coverdale, River Iverson, the next 2 hitters, and hoping at least get to Garrett Stout at some point here in this bottom of the 6th inning. 1-2.
Night or in today, these are stats before the Renner game, hitting 287, 33 hits and 115 at bats, 6 doubles, 3 triples, leads the teams in walks with 33. Like to see one of those right now.
1-2 pitch is inside, and it's 2-2. And Sainaha thought he had a strikeout, and he's going to ask the home plate umpire if it missed inside or missed low. And then I believe the umpire couldn't see where his arm went, but I would say that probably missed inside. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Sainaha to Hinkle. Line shot into right field. That one is going to be caught by the right fielder in Haas as he went to his left, and the leadoff man is retired. One of the hardest hit balls we've seen Hinkle hit all season.
Yeah, and just a ball that the other balls that we've seen go into the outfield tonight, especially into right field, hit that hard. Look, coming off the bat, they tend to drop earlier, and that one just kind of continued to sail. And with that, Haas is able to track it down near the line in right field, and the eights have one out on here in the bottom of the sixth.
Here's Andrew Coverdale. First pitch is inside for ball one. Coach White had to go back to the dugout to get the helmet. He was wearing just his hat. As rules changed throughout the years, and the count is even at a ball and a strike. Coverdale's 0 for 2. He's got the RBI so far for Post 8. He lined out to the first baseman, Skorcheski, and also grounded out that drove in A.J. Gaten. That made it a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the third. It's 1-1 here in the bottom of the sixth. 1-1 pitch to Coverdale. Fouled back and out of play, and it's now 1-2.
Yeah, and if your adrenaline isn't pumping right now, if you're a fan of either one of these teams, I don't know, you must be on Valium or something, because 1-1, bottom of the sixth inning, very well played game. High intensity level. This is a great baseball game.
1-2 misses upstairs, and it's now 2-2. I don't even know how you could fall asleep at this point. As we get close to 1 o'clock in the morning Central Time, we're 2 minutes away from even being Sunday here in Rapid City, and 12 hours and 2 minutes away from game one of the state championship. 2-2 pitch. That will come inside. It goes off the glove of Skolton, so it's now here to the leadoff hitter in the order, number 2 hitter in the inning, and Andrew Coverdale.
Yeah, that ball actually a curveball from Sainaha, and that's really the first curveball that you've seen him throw that just he really didn't have command of. Actually sailed behind the head of Andrew Coverdale, and like you said, skipped off the glove of Skolton. And so 3-2. Let's see if Coverdale can do something here.
3-2 pitch. Coverdale will spoil it, get it out of play, and we'll do it again at 3-2.
He just battled on that one. He kind of threw the bat at it because the fastball on the outside part of the plate, and Coverdale just able to stay alive at 3-2, and we get to do it all over again.
Here's the payoff pitch, another with one down, and it'll bring up River Iverson to the plates. And we are needing more baseballs.
They've been pretty liberal about taking balls out of play. I think that grass, because either because of the rain or maybe there's some dew setting in. Like we said, it's a cool night here in Rapid City as we're down to. Come on, Weather Channel app. Come on, give me the temperature.
Well, while you're getting the temperature, you are listening to KCCR Pierre Riverfront Broadcasting Station. A happy Sunday to you, Greg.
Happy Sunday to you too as well.
As Sainaha will end, he will be taken out of the ball game. Wait to see who didn't catch the number coming in, but it is looks like Hupke might be in the ball game here to throw for another time. Just like Garrett Stout is back in the ball game, as for Post State's,
it is Cole Hupke.
Yep, Cole Hupke is into the ball game for the second time, and this is a big spot for the number 1 guy for Brandon Valley. Both number 1s are on the mound for their second appearance of the day, and this is interesting to see as we go into Sunday that we have both number 1s back on the hill.
Yeah, and I tell you what, this is again just really good baseball. I mean, you don't even have to be a fan of one of these teams to appreciate this game. I mean, there have been good defensive plays on both sides. There have been miscues on both sides. There's been some great pitching on behalf of both starters, and so far both the reliever for Pierre Post 8, Garrett Stout, and now we'll see if Cole Hupke can come on. He got beat around a little bit earlier tonight against Rapid City Post. As we go into this midnight hour here in Rapid City, out here in Mountain Time. And
you can't fault either coach here for going back to Garrett Stout, also going back to Cole Hupke. And this is the point of the season where you say, we have our number 1 guy. We've lived by him. We'll die by him here. If we win or lose, we got to have our number 1 guy on the mound. and that's exactly what both teams are doing here late in the ball game. And Hupke's got a few less pitches to work with. He threw 60 in game one, so he's got 45 here in the 6th and 7th inning, potentially, depending on how things shake out. But they go back to their number one guy. He threw not too many hours ago. Here's the first pitch. That one is upstairs for ball one.
Yeah, and Hupke, a big guy, sits about 6'4", sits on that fastball. And so I think if you're post 8 right now, you just really sit dead red and see if you can't turn one around.
Here's the 1-0 pitch to Iverson upstairs, and it's 2-0. And just like how Stout came in the ball game, Hupke's come back into this game, and he's struggling to find the strike zone in his first couple pitches. He and Rapid City Post 22, they're kind of jawing back and forth with each other in that game. Now 3-0 is the count, and Iverson was taken all the way. He's going to take all the way again. And then you bring up the pitcher of the ball game here for Post 8, and Garrett Stout with runners at first and second, potentially, if Hupke isn't able to throw a couple of strikes here. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Iverson. Long pause from Hupke. Upstairs, 4-pitch walk, and is now first and second with one down. And here is Garrett Stout. And if there's any 2 hitters, I guess 3 hitters, but 2 hitters right now that you want up at the plate in the bottom of the 6th tie ball game season on the line, is Garrett Stout, followed by Andy Gordon. The only other person that I would say, Andrew Coverdale. Those 3 guys, those are the 3 guys you want at the plate.
And we know what kind of competitor Garrett Stout is. We've seen the late game heroics several times this year. He's meant to be on the big stage, and this is exactly where, if you could script this, if this was basketball and you could call a timeout and script a last second play, this would be exactly what you would want to draw up. This would be Garrett Stout at the plate. You can't do it in baseball, but it just has worked out that way.
First pitch from Hupke to Stout. A base hit could give Post 8 the lead. He'll swing and miss, and a big cut from Garrett Stout, and it's 0-1.
Stout sitting on that Hupke fastball and swung through the first pitch. We'll see if he continues to sit on the fastball.
I think he was trying to make it a 3-run lead on that first swing. Maybe he'll try and shorten it up here. 0-1 is over, and it's now 0-2, and now he's really got to shorten up and just try and put the ball in play. No double play. That's the only thing you don't want to have happen. Even a strikeout at this point, you still at least give Gordon a chance to hit with 2 outs. From Hupke to Stout. Check it second. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, and Stout goes down in 3 pitches. And it'll be now up to Andy Gordon. He gets a good read off of any ball that's hitting the play. He's going to run anyway with being first and second. But a base in the outfield could give Post 8 the lead. And it's 0-1.
Infield back all the way around, although Cole is probably the closest to the bunch, and he's actually retreated a step or 2 at third base. Outfield is playing straight away, medium to medium deep all the way around.
Hupke will come set from the stretch. Here is the to Andy Gordon. Couple checks over at second. There's a ground ball as foul right to the first base coaching box of Nathan Nas. And now Gordon is behind the count 0-2, and Hupke's got a lot to his disposal to try and get Gordon to chase one out of the zone, maybe chase one high, throw one back in the strike zone, and see if Gordon can catch up to the fastball. Hupke's got a lot in his arsenal and pitches to work with. Here's the 0-2 from Hupke to Gordon. That one will get off the catcher's mitts, and over to third is Coverdale. Read it perfectly. Up to second is Ivory. So now not only a base hit would give Post 8 the lead, they could give him a 2-run lead, but a pass ball could give Post 8 the lead. Count is 1-2.
And just a fastball that Hupke kind of threw at 59 feet and over out in the left-hand batter's box, and Skolten tried to backhand it and just wasn't able to field it cleanly. And with that, like you said, John, Post 8's got 2 runners in scoring position right now with 2 outs.
1-2 pitch from Hupke to Gordon. Swing and a miss, and Hupke will get out of the inning. And that will end the bottom of the 6th, and Hupke has a lot of words for Gordon as he goes back to the dugout. And that will bring us to the top of the 7th with a tie ball game. No runs, no hits, no errors, 2 men left on base. 1-1 is our score heading into the 7th. You're between Pierre and Brandon Valley. You're listening to Post State Baseball. Today's KCCR. Today's KCCR.com. Top of the seventh inning, 3, 4, and 5. Connor Connect, Jackson Haas, and Joe Colbeck. First pitch is over for strike one. Garrett Stout doesn't have a whole lot of pitches to work with. And then they'll have to go to the bullpen as Matt Lusk is already out of the ball game. Jack Van Camp used all of his pitches. First pitch is grounded to the shortstop in Keenels. Throw to first is in time. The leadoff man, that's a big out. Leadoff man is retired to open up the top of the seventh. They'll bring in Jackson Haas and Joe Colbeck. And right now the difference, although it's a tie ball game, the difference in the ball game is a mental error from Post State that gave the runner to Revere second base on what was thought to be called third strike. A roll back to the mound, thinking those called third strike would have been the end of the inning. Gave to Revere an easy lane to second, and then a base hit from Brown tied the game up in the top of the sixth inning. First pitch will be over for strike one to Jackson Haas, who is 1 for 2 so far. He walked in the fifth, singled in the fourth. Here's the 0-1. There's a fly ball into the gap out in right center field. That is down for extra bases, and the go-ahead run is going to be in score position. Nope, Haas tripped over first base. He struggled to get going, and a good job by Van Camp to get to it quickly and hold Haas out to first base. And Coach Van Heel holding his hand up, making sure that Haas is okay over at first base.
Yeah, and Haas, like you said, he was only about 3 or 4 steps around first base when he put the brakes on. That's probably one of the longest singles you'll see in Legion baseball. A ball that goes all the way to the wall in right center and only results in a one-base hit.
Now here's Joe Colbeck, who has not he's 0 for 1. He reached base twice with 2 different walks. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Colbeck. There's a fly ball out to center field. Going back on it is Matt Lusk. That one will get out of here as Jack Van Camp reached up for it, and Colbeck hit a 2-run home run in the top of the seventh inning to give Brandon Valley now a 3-1 lead. And he hits it off the number 1 guy in Garrett Stout. And for the first time here in this ball game, Brandon Valley has a lead.
Yeah, and that was a ball that he just turned around a fastball from Garrett Stout, and that thing got up and it flew and it went right over top of the McKee Ford sign out in right center field, just to the right of straightaway center field where the 370 sign is. And I tell you what, to get a ball out of here on a night like this, I mean, that's a poke.
First pitch to the next hitter, and Thomas Golden is upstairs for ball 1, and that is a tough break here for the Eights as they led through the first 5 2/3 of the ball game, and now they trail 3-1 with 1 down here in the top of the seventh. That's popped up. A.J. Gaden will go into foul territory. He's going to have a play on it, but it falls, and it's now a 1-1 count.
Yeah, and I don't know that he really saw that ball. I mean, he didn't look like he had a good line on that ball at any point as he drifted over into foul territory. And like I said, I think once that ball got up above the lights, I think AJ just lost it over there.
So the count is at 1-1 with 1 down here in the top of the seventh. Bases are empty after the 2-run homer from Joe Colbeck. The 1-1 pitch will come upstairs over the top of the head of Skolten, and it's now 2-1. 3-1. Brandon Valley leads here in the top of the seventh. 2-1 pitch outside, 3-1. Mayer, I believe, has been warming up quite a bit. He's still over there throwing. And he will come into this ball game if Stout is unable to get out of this inning before his pitch count is exceeded. 3-1 is outside, and it's a one-out walk, and 3 straight hitters have reached base. And they'll bring up now Brad Skorcheski.
And I think, what did we say? Stout had 51 pitches to use. I think he's at 46 right now. So this could well be Stout's last hitter of the evening, unless it's a quick out.
Ground ball could get you out of this inning as well. First pitch to Skorcheski is over for strike 1 on the off speed. Post 8 will have 5, 6, and 7. Matt Lusk, Jack Van Camp, and Lincoln Keenels. Although if Jake Mayer comes in, you got to figure out where you're going to put him in the lineup because there is no more DH as the count is now 0-2. And where do you put him in the lineup? Do you put him in for one of your top 4 guys and take out Coverdale, Iverson, Stout, or Gordon? Or do you put him in the order and maybe pinch it for somebody or pinch it for him if he comes back up? Not saying that Mayer can't get a base hit, but as the count is now 1-2, just maybe some strategy will come into play if you can't get Stout out of this inning and have to bring in another pitcher. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Stout to Skorcheski. He'll pop it up on the right side. Gordon in foul territory. He will make the catch, and there's now 2 down. And I believe that is going to be it for Garrett Stout. I don't think he's going to get out of this inning. And the time is called by Coach White, and he will point to the bullpen, and Jake Mayer will come in. And so now we'll see who comes out of the ball game. Stout will stay and probably go to short. Keenels will probably move to third. We'll see what happens. We'll be back in a minute to tell you the changes. You listen to Post 8 Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Jake Mayer is on the mound, needing just 1 out, and he wants to get it quickly because Post 8 trails 3-1. A.J. Gayden came out of the ball game, so Mayer will go into the 8th spot in the order, which is going to do up 4th in the bottom of the 7th. A.J. Gayden out, Keenels over to 3rd, Stout at short, and Mayer, who already threw once today, or threw yesterday against Brandon Valley, needing just 1 out to get out of this inning. And to give Post 8 a chance, needing to score at least 2 runs. There is a runner at first base. That is Thomas Skolden. As Michael Chevalier is to the plate. He's 0 for 3. 2 strikeouts, called 3rd strikes on him, and he fly out to center.
Number 30, Michael Chevalier.
So here is Mayer a chance, Chevalier a chance to extend the lead. First pitch, that is over for strike 1.
Yeah, Jake Mayer, this would be, let me find him here on the chart. This is his 12th appearance on the year, 1 start. So his 11th relief appearance on the year. He is 2-1 on the year, no saves. He does have 27 strikeouts and 27 innings pitched with a 4.41 ERA on the year.
Count is 0-2 here to Chevalier, looking to give him the hat trick and send us to the bottom of the 7th inning. As Mayer will step off and reset with an 0-2 count and 2 down. 3-8-1 for Brandon, 1-1-0 for Pierre. With 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. Here is the 0-2 pitch from Mayer to Chevalier. It is not called strike 3. That one missed low and outside, and it's now 1-2. Looked good. It looked like a couple of Post 8 players took a step towards the dugout. Now here with a 1-2 count, Mayer will deliver the 1-2. That one will get all the way to the backstop, and into second base now will be Skolton. The count is at 2 balls and 2 strikes, and now a base hit will give Brandon Valley a 3-run lead as they will replace the baseball with a dry baseball.
Yeah, and I don't know if Mayer actually lost the grip on that ball or not, but it just kind of sailed on him and kind of caught Hinkle by surprise. So maybe they had their sign screwed up a little bit, because I see as Kate Hinkle makes a visit to the mound to just to make sure that they're both on the same page and communicating back and forth like they should be.
So here is a 2-2 count coming up to Chevalier after the quick visit from Hinkle to Mayer. Mayer will get the sign. He'll come set. Here is the 2-2 pitch. There's a fly ball out to right field. Matt Lusk will range over. He will make the catch, and Post State needs 2 runs here in the bottom of the 7th inning to keep their season alive here in 2020. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors, 1 man left on base. Brandon Valley has scored the last 3 runs. They lead 3-1 into the bottom of the 7th. Hupke on the mound trying to close it out and end this 2020 season for Pierre. We'll see if Pierre has anything to say about it. Listen to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. Bottom of the 7th inning. It is 5, 6, and 7. Matt Lusk, Jack Van Camp, and Lincoln Keenholz. They'll be followed by Jake Mayer and then Cade Hinkle. You need at least 5 guys to come to the plate. You need these final 5 in the order to come to the plate. Cole Hupke came in, had a leadoff walk, walked the first guy he saw, and then was able to strike out the next 2 guys in Stout and Gordon. And he's trying to close this out. He'd pick up the win here in game number 2. After Joe Colbeck took pitch. And there's a ground ball by Matt Lusk. It'll be fielded by the shortstop. Hard throw to first. 1 pitch and 1 out. Here to lead off the bottom of the 7th. And Post State season's down to now 2 outs.
Yeah, and I tell you what, when the breaks are going your way for Brandon Valley, they continue to go their way. Just a rocket of a hard ground ball that Matt Lusk hit. It actually probably would have got through, except for the fact that it hit the side of the mound and took kind of a cherry hop, and Peyton was able to glove it on 1 hop, and because of that, he's able to take it in 1 hop and throw it well and hard across the field. And now we got I'm not sure
broken bat. Jack Van Camp broke his bat on the swing and foul ball, so he's going to get a different aluminum bat. The metal bat breaks in the bottom of the 7th inning, and it shattered in a couple.
If you've got broken metal bat in the bottom of the 7th inning and a 3-1 ball, your 2020 bingo card, mark that spot off. You're 1 spot closer to blackout bingo.
Count is 0-1 here to Van Camp, so he's got to change bats here in the bottom of the 7th with their season on the line. 0-1s, they swing 2. And Lincoln Keenholz is on deck. And you hope that Jack Van Camp is on base for Keenholz. Here's the 0-2 from Hupke to Van Camp. That one misses low, and it's now 1-2. Jake Mayer would be the next man after Keenholz. You got to get to his spot. You got to get to Hinkle's spot, and then you got to try and get up to Andrew Coverdale as well at the top of the order. Here's the 1-2. That one will miss inside, and the count is now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yep, and again, you don't need a big hit. Just got to get on base somehow. walk, hit, air, hit by pitch, drop third strike, whatever you got to do.
2-2 is outside, and from 0-2 now to 3-2. And Van Camp is trying to find a way to get on base. Here with one down in the bottom of the seventh. Here's the 3-2 from Hupke to Van Camp. Swing and a miss, and there's 2 strikes, 2 outs now here in the bottom of the seventh. Here's Lincoln Kienholz, youngest player on the team for Post State. Trying to keep the season alive for his teammates. Trying to keep a bunch of careers on the line, or alive, here for Post State with 2 down. Hupke from the windup. Here's the first pitch to Kienholz. Over for strike 1. And Post State season is now 2 strikes away from ending.
Hupke starts Kienholz with a changeup. Didn't throw that hard fastball on pitch 1 like you might expect.
A 1 pitch. That one is over, and it's now 0-2. And now Post State is down to their final strike here this season. They led 1-0 after the bottom of the third. They held that lead until 2 outs in the 6th inning. And a 2-run homer by Joel Kolbeck in the top of the 7th gives them a 3-1 lead. Here's the 0-2 from Hupke to Kienholz. There's a foul ball, and Kienholz will stay alive. He's got the lone hit in the lineup for Post State. And there's where you can look at in this game for Post State to, if they end up falling in this one, is that the lack of hits end up coming back to haunt him in this ball game. Just 1 hit, and Kienholz has it. He's 1 for 2 so far. And he was retired out on a strike him out, throw him out. Here's the 0-2 pitch again. That one will miss outside. Brandon Valley thought they had the game won, but it's now 1-2. And Kienholz will live for another pitch. We are 11 and a half hours from game 1 of the state championship game between Rapid City and the winner of this one. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That one will be missed, and a good check swing by Lincoln Kienholz, and the count is now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs.
Yeah, and right now, again, if you're Lincoln Kienholz, you just got to find your way on base somehow. It doesn't matter how. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be, I mean, if you got a pitch coming inside, you might have to take one in the hip. If you can work a walk, if you can squirt one through the right side, whatever you got to do, Lincoln, this time to come through in the clutch.
2-2 pitch is outside, and now the count is full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Those are a couple of tough pitches to take with 2 strikes and the game on the line, but Kienholz has got the plate vision in those last couple of pitches. And so here is the payoff pitch from Hupke to Kienholz. That one will miss low, and it's a 2-out walk. Hupke can't believe it, but now it will be coming to the plates, Will Van Camp. And we'll see Will Van Camp to pinch hit for Jake Mayer. With we have Will Van Camp checking in to hit for Jake Mayer. And we'll see what Will can do. With 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning and a runner on first. Will represents the tying run. He has to be the tying run. No, there's no room for error. He's got to get on base and come around to score. Cade Hinkle is on deck. And for Will Van Camp, just find a way to pass it on. First pitch from Hupke to Van Camp is over for strike 1. And Hupke has got an 0-2 count on the last 2 hitters. He started this 3rd hitter in a row with an 0-1 count. Lusk grounded out on the first pitch that he saw on the bottom of the 7th. Here's the 0-1 from Hupke to Van Camp. On the outside edge, and it's now 0-2, and another 0-2 count here for Will Van Camp to try and battle through.
Yeah, and again, same situation Lincoln Kienholz was in. You just got to find your way on. Just got to find your way on base, Will Van Camp.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. On the outside edge, looked out for strike 3, and Brandon Valley will beat Post State and advance to the state championship game tomorrow to face Rapid City. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base in the 7th inning. Post State season comes to an end as they lose to Brandon Valley 3-1. Back in 2 minutes to wrap up the season. You're listening to Post State Baseball on today's KCCR and today's KCCR.com. As we welcome you back here to Pete Lean Field, as Brandon Valley lives to play later on today, as we are at 12:30 local time in Rapid City. John Winkler alongside Greg Dean, and the season comes to an end. 32-18, 50 games played for Post States, and you get third place in the state, and nothing to, it's gonna sting for a while. This is a team that, and at the beginning of the season, you looked at it and said, boy, this really is in favor for the pitching staff that Post State is going to have to try and win a state championship. And they were one game away from being in that state championship, just couldn't get the job done. And a team that hit the ball really well all season ends up getting just one hit in this ball game, and they lose 3-1.
Yeah, and tip your hat to the Brandon Valley pitching staff. Trey Sainaha did a superb job tonight. I mean, he just had the Post State bats on their heels all night long. We'll drop into his pitching line tonight, but 5 1/3 innings pitched for Trey Sainaha, just the one hit, one run. It was earned. He only walked one, struck out 5. So the fact that he only allowed just the 3 base runners, the base hit, the walk, and the hit by pitch that where he hit AJ Gaden, who scored the lone run of the night for Post State, for a kid who's just going to be a rising junior. A lot of credit to him. And then Cole Hupke comes on to finish the game for Brandon Valley. An inning and 2/3, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, no hits, no runs. But I tell you what, while we could talk a lot about the big pitching and the big hitting, especially from Joe Colbeck with the 2-run home run in the 6th inning. Tell you what, you got to tip your hat to this Post State team. I mean, like you said, coming into this tournament, seeded 4th, on paper, probably finished where they should have finished. I mean, behind number 1 the number 1 seed Rapid City Post 22 and number 2 seed Brandon Valley. They're going to duke it out tomorrow for the state championship. But I tell you what, a lot of heart, a lot of grit on behalf of this team, and kind of what you would expect from a team that has 11 seniors, 10 of them with the team right now. Gray Zabel up at football camp at North Dakota State. But I tell you what, it doesn't make losing any easier, and you're always going to remember your last game. And this one, like you said, is going to sting for a while. But if you take the season as a whole, and you look back at the season as a whole, there's a whole lot of highlights to put on that highlight reel. Not very many lowlights. And I tell you what, they can really hang their head high.
They finished at 32-18, and a team that last year, after being eliminated in the state tournament from Brandon Valley, they returned everybody. I mean, everybody came back from that team. They didn't have a senior on the team, and now there's a good handful, almost 2 handfuls that will be at least unavailable to play going into 2021. But there's some that will still be able to come back potentially. But a lot of hugs and a lot of heartbreak for Post State as they finish their season here tonight. And you got to it's a tough one, a tough pill to swallow, and you can't say enough good things about the coaching staff, the players, the parents, and the Post State board itself, and all of everything about Pierre. For thinking it is a tough pill to swallow, but the fact that you're able to play 50 games here this season in a year that just doesn't seem like you're able to play a whole lot of sports, it's going to hurt. But you're going to look back and say, man, I'm so glad we got to play this year in 2020. We got a chance to play full summer baseball. There were a lot of states didn't get that opportunity.
States right now, it doesn't look like fall sports are going to happen in a lot of states. And so the fact that we've at least got the prospect of a relatively normal sports season, again, a lot of credit goes to a lot of people from the local level to the peer players, parents, coaching staff, to the state level and Dakota at the Class A level. And so our hats off to involved. It's been a great season. John, thanks for letting me tag along. This has been a blast.
Yeah.
You and I have spent a fair number of hours together, babbling back and forth at each other, and it's been a great ride. And now we can put the bikes away for a couple of weeks and till August 28th, when probably you and I will be standing by each other out at Sturgis, South Dakota at Woodle Field, and the opening day of Class 11 AA football season.
And I will make the mention, too, that this coming Friday we'll have Pierre Soccer on the radio as they host Brandon for you. First games of fall sports between soccer, volleyball, and football. And Greg, I do appreciate everything that you've done to help me out this summer, and looking forward to the fall again with you. And also want to say, obviously all these parents, or I should say a lot of these parents are here and watching the game, so they're not truly listening right now. But a big thanks to the parents. For me specifically, personally, a big thanks to the parents is, I'm still a 26-year-old kid that came to, or I guess at that point was 25, came to Pierre, 24, and I came to enjoy another year of summer baseball. And for a lot of these parents, they're seniors, their youngest, or maybe even their oldest, they're done and will not be playing fall sports anymore, so won't be able to see them every single time that Pierre plays. And it's a special group of seniors, a special group of parents that a really heartfelt thanks goes out to them for all they've done for me specifically. And obviously I'll see you again next summer as Bennett's going to be a senior. And I will say this too, you're having to do a whole lot of convincing when Bennett graduates to not help me anymore, by the way. So you're not going to get out of it whenever Bennett graduates next year. You're going to have a lot. You get your lawyer out to try and plead your case not to help me out.
The upside of that statement is, it sounds like you're going to be around for the long term, and that's a good thing for Pierre Athletics and for the Pierre radio listeners.
So again, Brandon Valley, they fall 3-1 here tonight Pierre falls to Brandon Valley 3-1 as their season comes to an end. 32-18 is the final record for Post States here this summer. As that will wrap up coverage for us here from the 2020 baseball season this coming Friday. Pierre and Brandon Valley soccer on your airwaves and as well as on YouTube, as you can start listening to fall sports, and hopefully we get a full fall sports season like we had a full summer baseball season here in South Dakota. Thanks to Ray Lewis back at the station, staying up late on your Saturday night and spend your early Sunday morning with us back at 1:37 back home in Pierre. Thanks to staying up there late with us, Ray. To Greg Dean to my right, as John Winkler here signing off for the final time of the 2020 baseball season. Pierre loses to Brandon Valley 3-1. They take third in state as we say goodnight from Pete Lean Field.